What is happening, lovely peoples? Welcome back to Casters on the Block, where this episode gonna be a doozy because we have quite the controversial things to talk about. So many banger tweets came out over the weekend during SmashCon. Lots of people got sick, including myself, so I am dead inside. And we also, Ritual and I also are casting a major this weekend, which is gonna be pretty great.
Yeah! It's baby's first time.
Yeah!
It's baby's first time.
Yeah,
And we're all here, by the way.
That is, we are all here. Everyone is here on the block.
Oh, where's Wolfie?
We do need Wolfie.
We need Wolfie. Someone get Wolfie real quick.
She's never awake.
She might be.
the PST timers, the fake time zoners. I swear to God.
You're literally
Oh my
casting in PST. Today!
Yeah, but you're not there, so it doesn't matter. Okay,
But all right,
continuing on.
we gotta get into the tea. But first, where are my manners? My name is Syndicate Snivy or Antonio. I am here with
Me?
Mr. Waffle
Target
Man.
me? I zoned out completely. We'll move on. Move on. Somebody else.
I'm Cafe Ritual here on the block.
You've never
Casting.
introduced yourself as Cafe Ritual
Cafe,
ever in your life.
cafe. Yeah, we're trying new things on the introductions. Here with some of my favorite people with some exciting things this weekend and on the horizon, and also a new exciting person who we found out listens to the podcast, but we can mention that later maybe.
I'm some random accountant that has to take time off of my lunch break to do this podcast. Continue on.
And I'm Head Glitch Smashes Yin. Woo!
Congrats on that, by
Back
the
again.
way.
Who let him
Hey,
in here?
thank you.
Wait, who let Yin in here?
You see, we
You
had
kidding
to.
me? I got the money.
He does have the money, but we
That's
had
why I
to
got the
let Yin in
chains
here
on.
because Yin has the dirt. We're here to dig up some dirt. We're here
True.
to talk some dirt stuff out here because
I will say, we should put that to the back end, because that's going to be the majority of the pod, right? Is talking about how poorly every single event, and I mean every single one, there are like a handful
Whoa.
that do the bare minimum
No.
for commentators.
No.
All the rest of you are
No,
trash.
I'm gonna give two explicit people more credit than that because they are due more credit than that. Or three actually. I'm gonna give Ubel more credit than that. I'm gonna give Dara more credit
That's
than
fair.
that, and I'm gonna give Cact more credit than that. Also,
Okay, that's fair. Those three actually do a good job.
and Flambeau, but minus his time frame, but that has more to do with the event than Flambeau.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not Flambeau's fault.
So-
I'm not gonna blame him.
I gathered you all here today to talk about a certain tweet done by one of our lovely casters. Throws tweet on screen. Thank you,
Sup it.
Waffle.
Oh.
By Ritual.
How's it going?
The tweet reads out, please normalize, oh my God, please normalize events sending out rejection emails. It's okay to get rejected, but being ghosted by an event and not knowing you haven't been hired and that it's not a late turnaround until you see the caster graphic, well, it sucks. It does suck. As a lot of us who have been like only casting for a year, Yin's definitely experienced this quite a bit, isn't that right?
Yeah, so for reference, okay, there's a couple of reasons why I specifically wanted on this app, okay?
Because
I feel, well, I mean, you guys will invite me whenever. I just say,
True.
hey, can I show up this week? And you'll be like, yeah, of course.
True.
I'm
But,
representing
like-
your white privilege.
I mean, it's the bi side of me, all right? I got enough of minority in me. I'm not like, we already got the white straight pride up in the top
But
right.
you're also Mormon. You're like
White,
anti-minority.
straight, white, straight, proud, baby. Proud.
It's okay. The
Let's
LGBT
go.
doesn't want me. Mormons don't want me. It's lit. But, okay. Here is the thing. I feel especially qualified for many reasons. One, obviously, I'm a commentator like the rest of my lovely cohorts here. Okay, so we've experienced a lot of this. For reference, more than half of the events I have ever applied to have ghosted me. That's insane! It's not that hard. I don't care if you're gonna feel bad. You want to know what sucks is getting ghosted. And that brings up the second issue with this, is it's not just ghosting. but it's also the late turnarounds. There are events that will not have their caster lineup settled until 2 weeks before the event.
Or a week.
That's not okay. True, a week. That's insane.
Or 3 days. Shout out to
Yeah.
Vince Gillen putting up commentators 3 days before the event to do comms for them. We're
Yeah,
not
they're
gonna
the
say
goats
which
for real,
event.
for
We're
real.
not saying which event.
So here's the thing. So there's one, okay? And that would be one thing. It's like, okay, I'm just a caster running my mouth, talking crap, not gonna put my money where my mouth is. Well, here's the thing. If you're watching this, I have 2 events next year, including a super major and an event that's aiming for a major that I am running the direction for the commentary for. Okay? So I am putting my money where my mouth is. And I've got a full breakdown of what I'm planning on doing and how easy and simple it is if you just put the forethought into it.
Simple and clean, baby.
Yo,
Let 'em
pass
know
me the
you.
notes. Pass me the notes.
Yeah.
I will pass anybody that knows. In fact, I'm going to break through my whole planned out process here today. That way, if you, as a TO, because I do think a lot of TOs just don't quite know what they need to do with it. Okay, there's a couple in specific that I have talked to. A great example, I love my man's MC Polo. There were a couple of things that it was his first ever major, and so he didn't know all the intricacies that were coming in. He had a lot of responsibility. MC Polo runs great events, but this was his first time doing that. And so there were a couple of things on the back end, which thankfully got brought up by a couple of commentators, and MC Polo was so willing to work with them immediately. And so shout outs to MC Polo. Even though he didn't know what all he should be thinking about, the commentators just brought it up, and he was very willing to listen. And I think there's a lot of tournament organizers who are like that, where they want to do right by the casters, they just don't know exactly what they should be doing. And that's hard, and I get that. And so for those of you that are like that, totally forgivable. We love you. We appreciate you. We know TOing is a very hard and difficult job. For the ones who know what they should be doing, screw you. Screw you.
Yo, I don't
one of-
endorse this message.
I don't either.
Yes, you do.
but-
By
No, I
bringing him
don't.
on, you're the one who invited him
Oh.
on. You
Oh,
invited him on.
Here's the thing.
I didn't know he was gonna tell
specifically
people to go
mean-
fuck themselves on the podcast.
I
Hey man, you maybe
specifically
should stop
mean
subtweeting on Twitter.com.
Me?
if you
I wasn't subtweeting
if
anybody.
you as a TO know what you should be doing better and don't do it, there's one specific name, I won't name him because I'm not going to do nobody dirty like that. But if you know what you should be doing and you have an understanding of that, fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate the energy.
Ritual knows specifically who I'm referring to.
All right, now we're into the frying pan right now. I know.
Yeah.
Before Ritual and I definitely want to talk about our experiences with this. Gerd and Waffle, do you have anything?
Oh, I want to say is that this is not a problem for me because I've never been rejected to any event I've ever
Let's
applied
go!
to. That's what's up.
That's
That's
kinda
my
real.
caster.
Apply to anything.
Yeah,
So like,
true.
He just shows
For
up
me,
and
at
gets
least-
tired.
for me at least, I can also share my experience considering that, for like more of my monthlies, I didn't really send out rejection letters because the pool of casters was so small. I didn't really need to reject anyone, or if someone actually did like send me like an application, it's like some rando. I'm like, I have never heard of you before. I don't want to give you the time of day. Like, not even anyone like I would have known. Like, I know most of the casters.
I would still
like,
message
see a
them
name.
back.
I know, but like sometimes it's just like some absolute rando I've never seen in the community or
Yeah,
my
but-
media community. I'm like, who are you?
Okay, hold up.
At least someone
Hey,
also
that's
didn't have a
me.
reel.
That's me.
They also
want to
didn't have a
address that,
reel,
though.
so I didn't know what to evaluate them on.
I'm
Good,
rando.
good. Hold up. But here's the thing, right? Is everybody starts as a rando. And so, bare minimum, like hitting them back saying, hey, sorry, we can't take you for this event, but next time. That way, bare minimum, you're still like being respectful to them. I think if you apply to an event, there should always be a rejection or exception.
I'm with Ian on this. I think regardless of the scale of the event, it's really important to have rejections, to have acceptances, because it's a level of best practices being established, even if we don't necessarily even if you don't necessarily need it because of the number of casters, or they're just people who really haven't done that same level of apps. One of the things for me that's really important about this, right? We've talked a lot about how Smash is in this weird space with sponsors and with, our community where we're really grassroots, but we want to be an esport. We want to be seen as being viable to sponsors. But, frankly, we're just kind of a mess. And part of that is if we want our esport to grow, we have to do things the right way. And that starts with not just commentary, but anybody. You hire people the right way. You organize your event from the ground up the right way. And I will say, Gerd, you do a fantastic job with this. You make sure everybody gets paid. You make sure everyone knows far enough in advance. You don't hire people just for the sake of hiring them, but you also make sure that if you need pool captains, you have the right number. You have the right number of volunteers. You make sure everyone is supported. So shout outs to Gerd for that. I'm not just saying that because he's on the podcast. He does a really good job with that. But rejection letters are something so simple you can do, because commentary apps are in a Google Sheet, which means every response you get is in a Google Sheet. So what you do is you hire people, and then you delete their names. And then at the simplest level, you go copy the email column from what's left. You copy and paste it into an email, and you write a rejection email, and you send it to that whole group. If there's people you want to email individually, like I know Scabs for SmashCon, sent out a rejection email to the group, but there was also people he knew individually who he sent some individual rejection emails to separately. You can do that too, right? That's also really easy. You remove the people you know individually, put them in a different list, and then still send that mass email to everyone else. Go from there. It takes not even 5 minutes of your time and allows the people who you don't go with to, figure out if they still want to go to the event. It allows them to figure out if there's another event they can commentate. Sometimes you're waiting on, sometimes I'll, for example, apply to 2 events that are the same weekend, and I won't hear back from one. And I won't be able to tell the other event I'm going, or I'll have to make a decision wondering if I'm actually going to get hired for the other event or not without knowing. And that sucks for me, that sucks for the other event organizer, that sucks for the event organizer who hasn't let me know if they do end up hiring me, and same thing goes, to, if there's delays, right? If you expect to have, commentary apps out a month, or responses out a month before the event, and I'm just giving random numbers here. I'm not suggesting best practices on timeline. You can get, and everyone else can get to that later, right? And something happens, right? Say your dog dies, and you have to deal with that. Please deal with that. Life happens. Stuff happens.
Say you got COVID and you can't pull up to the region this week.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
But
relative.
please let people know, because that communication allows us to better communicate with you. It builds mutual respect, and it overall just gives everyone an opportunity to do better by each other, and do better by this industry, and do better by this game and this community that we all care a ridiculous amount about. Because let's be real, none of us are here because we're getting paid.
No, we're not getting paid a bag whatsoever. If
Nah,
anything,
my
we're getting
$20
paid.
chain.
I don't know about
Shouts to
you
the
guys.
Dave and Buster's $20 chain.
I don't know about you
Actually,
guys.
from Raw, stress for less, baby.
Ah.
Hey, my last 2 events did me well. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Shout out to Shutdown for
Gee,
paying per
I wonder.
set.
God damn, man.
I love Reboot.
Shutdown was crazy.
I love Reboot. Tony
That
Pajamas,
reboot bag
Kyle
is
TM.
insane.
I'm going to the
Shout outs.
reboot every single time.
Shout out to all those guys.
So,
What I
They're the
learned
best.
is never dodge another reboot event.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. You try to flake for Tri-State.
I think
You'll remember.
I had told Reggie though that I would do that event, do Alpha before Shutdown was even announced. That's why
I wasn't
was
doing
there.
anything that weekend. I was just big chilling. I'm like, I think I'm gonna touch some grass. or
Okay,
something.
I'm gonna be the nerd who plays devil's advocate here. But do other people think it's kind of weird when people like apply to like multiple events in one weekend and then just like tell both that they're available to do it, and then but you can't be in two places at once? Isn't
No,
that, like,
I actively disclose that I've applied to another event at the same
Okay.
time.
Looks at ritual
Yeah.
eye.
God.
I
always do that.
disclose that
Yeah,
I
you just disclosed that.
Yeah, I do disclose that I'm like that. Like when I if I hear back from another event, I do say like, hey, thank you for the opportunity. You know, I also applied to this event. I'm waiting to hear back, or I've heard back from both events. I'm trying to figure that out. I'll let you know within this time frame, and I work with the TOs to figure out the time frame that works for them, right? So they can still go with backups if they want to go with another caster because I'm considering another event. I totally understand that, etc. But again, it's all about transparent communication, which by sending rejection emails, by sending these things, you encourage from your commentators as well, because that communication goes both ways. If you ghost the people who apply to your events, you should not expect them to communicate with you effectively. I mean, ideally they still will because they're not awful people, but it's hard to expect that when you don't establish that as the norm on your end as well.
Which, speaking of, here is a little roadmap for anybody who is running a major. Now, given I understand that majors, this is an easier format to follow for an established tournament than it would be for most regionals and nationals, okay? So let's be clear, this is just a general guideline for what I'm doing with the events that I'm running next year for commentary direction, and a general like thing for you to use, okay? And this goes to solve a couple of problems that I've experienced as a caster, as well as fellow casters on this podcast, casters that I've talked a lot with, whether that be you have Skiff, who I've heard times about getting ghosted, Jet, Wolf Scratch, Laird, and Arbiter. Like, there's high-level casters who get ghosted or bad communication with, okay? And that's insane that happens, even for like some of the higher ups within their regions or within the country or world, right? So here's what I'm doing for next year with the events that I will be working with. This is a 7-month timeline, by the way. A lot of the times established majors will announce like 6-7 months ahead of time, okay? So they announce immediately commentary applications are up, okay? Then there are 2 months where commentary applications are open. This is why it would be a little bit harder to do with an unestablished event because, you know, maybe you aren't going to get a lot of people applying right out of the gate. I think if you just commercialize well, that should balance that out.
Announce if you're trying to run a major, announce at a major. Like when you announce during a major top 8, etc.,
CO.
it makes people see your event, it makes people apply, and it solves a lot of the issues that Yin just addressed.
Yeah, and it keeps that infrastructure within Smash where we're building each other up. And so that's another reason why that's such a key item to announcing majors, is utilizing other majors to build that up. So applications are open for 2 months and then they close. Then there is a month where myself and any other part of the team, including obviously the head tournament organizer, because I as a commentary director have my own ideas, but I understand it is not my event. So that is one of the things, like, hey, Mr. TO guy, what do you want? Are you wanting more local talent? Are you wanting big names to really establish this as like closer to Genesis or a Battle of BC, like what they're like aiming for, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, that way I'm on the same page as my head TO and what their budget is, right? So I get a month where I shorten the list down, okay? I'm not cutting everybody. I just get the ones out of the way that I'm not going to go with. Then that sends out the first wave of messages. That includes rejections as well as the start for the second wave of hiring. Now, let me explain this. Something that I have had happen multiple times, which is insane that this happens, is an event will think just because I am West Coast and they are East Coast or something along those lines, I will be more expensive to hire than I am.
No, I feel that.
And so, or they will expect that, like, oh, hey, I don't have the money to cover my flight, especially now that I'm sponsored. I don't care. I just want to break even, right? Like, I'm trying to build my resume, you know? And so they will just assume I'm going to be more expensive and tell me no. And then when I reach out, because sometimes they won't have said no, they won't have sent the rejection, or they sent the rejection and I'll ask why, they'll say the money thing, and I'm like, I could have been on if you would have just talked to me, which sucks. Like, I don't say that outright. Like, I don't, that sounds kind of like a dick if I just say it like that. But it's that extra level of open communication that helps for events to establish within their range and everything. And that way, casters too know, like, oh, hey, let me fight for this amount or whatever. That way, it's all clear and set up. And that way, the caster feels good about that experience and the event feels good about that experience. So that sends out the first wave of messages where it's either you got rejected or, hey, let's schedule a meeting. That way we can talk about this. And or just, hey, what do you need for this event to make it out, right? Another 2 weeks. That way for me and the rest of the team to once again assess, see what's in our budget. Now that we have a better, clear guideline for what they need as casters, for us to figure it out, okay? And then the final wave of rejections and acceptances goes out, and you have the final roster. That is 3 months before the event. That gives casters plenty of time to get cheaper flights, because that is a constant thing. It's so miserable to get hit up a month before the event, and it's like, wow, plane tickets are $200 more now. I have to spend double the money I would have spent even a month ago.
Which, mind you, often is also the difference between us as commentators breaking even, or even perhaps making like $50 during an event, which is like still breaking even when you consider that we have to, pay for food. We believe it or not, guys, we do actually eat.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
I mean, I don't, but the rest of y'all. Anyways, jokes aside.
Need more events with that
Rumored
Papa
drill
John
dinner
sponsor.
not existing.
But like, it is often a difference between us actively losing money and us breaking even. So it is a big difference to us. And also, I just want to double back to what Ian said in terms of timelines. I'm also directing commentary directing an event in 2024 that has major aspirations. Potentially 2, we'll see. But for that one, I'm just going to plug it right now. Keep your eyes on Melee Top 8 of Riptide, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But
yeah, baby.
we're going to keep from that date, right? September 10th. We're going to have apps open for... I'm actually getting in a call on Wednesday with the TO and finalizing that timeline. But we're going to keep apps open for about 2.5 months. And our goal is to let everyone know by end of November, early December. So everyone will know. And I'm not going to leak the event dates yet because that's disrespectful to the TOs. But, that will let everyone know multiple months before the event. I will tell you right now that is at least 3 months before the event. And we are gonna, and our goal is to make sure that everyone gets, as well accommodated as possible in terms of if they have to buy their own flight tickets, but also there's another benefit here as well, which is often events will have a budget to fly out casters in some capacity, whether it's a couple or whether it's everyone. Guys, if you let people know sooner and finalize your roster sooner and flights are cheaper, it means you can bring out more people. It means you can have a closer roster to your ideal roster just by doing things faster.
Now, so you have 3 months after that, or the event actually goes live. 7-month plan. That is the goal, with 4 months of actual casting direction, and then that gives you 3 months where you get to just solidify everything out. If you need extra casters, then boom, you have 3 months of time to go ahead and sub in and everything,
Yes.
Now, Another thing is we usually don't know as casters what those deadlines are. So every event you see me commentary direct, dates will be live day one. So you know the exact day that all your messages are going out. So if you are waiting on a event, you know, oh hey, it's, let's say February 30th. I know that date doesn't exist. I specifically chose that so nobody tries to guess whatever events we are doing. But February 30th. Okay, cool. And then you don't have to be stressing the whole week of like, am I getting it today? Am I getting it tomorrow? Am I getting it in an hour? And that's miserable. Instead, it's just, okay, today's the day. And then there's no back and forth of you getting messages constantly or like casters having to send out and ask, hey, is it almost done? And the answer is always like, oh, we're getting close. It's never, hey, it's in 2 days, don't worry. It's always like, we're getting close, just a little bit more time. And that can mean a lot of different things. And so the whole goal is just to make this experience as streamlined and as pleasant of an experience for both the casters and the TO.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, when you, this is a, business 101, right? But when you treat the people you're working with well, they want to work with you again. Right? You will have a much better time with things like commentators giving word.
What
Ritual
just
has
happened?
ascended.
Snivy, is your...
I don't know. That wasn't me. I just checked all my audio. That was terrifying. But anyways, aside from seeing myself in the echo chamber, I
wonder if they will be able to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Because that might have been just through Discord.
That is true.
That was funny as hell.
For those of you wondering, in case you couldn't hear it, I just echoed 8 times. That was really eerie.
I don't know. I just unplugged and then plugged in my headset again because sometimes it just drops the audio.
But
Snivy's killing us.
what I'll say is that, right, casters travel a lot. Even people like Waffle have been to multiple. I love you, Waffle. But Reed, who applies to less
Am I
events.
catching strays?
No, I'm saying even you who apply to less events still have been to what 6, 7 states.
No.
You've been to New York, Mass, Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont.
To
I
cast.
have not been to New Hampshire.
Okay, never mind.
This dude does not travel.
And-
Okay, so you've been
and
to
I-
5 states.
And I didn't cast in Maine. I didn't go to Vermont to cast, but I just ended up doing it because
Okay.
they needed somebody.
But my point still stands is that you've still traveled, even as someone who quote unquote doesn't cast that much and doesn't travel that much. You've still been to 5 states, right?
Yeah, sure.
And when you travel to that many states, you meet a lot of people. And having commentators are some really good free advertisement for your event, especially when they know they're casting early, because they know a lot of people. They can tell people
They want to do carpools from their states if
Yes.
it's close by.
But the
Yes.
difference between this and me is, I'm just gonna cut you off right here, is that I support the event no matter
Right.
if I'm going to go or not.
No,
or
I
if I'm going
I
to
do
commentate or not.
I do too.
Exactly.
I do too. But my point
I'll
is,
say it. Here,
especially with
I'll
a
jump in. I don't have the money like that. I have to be very pick and choosy to what event I go to. And so if I apply for 2 events in the same month, if I get hit up by the first one, that's probably the one I'm going to, and it's very hard for me unless I am commentating and I'm getting at least something. Given now that I'm on Head Glitch, it's a little bit easier. They help me out with a lot of travel expenses, but I am poor. I'm married. I'm going to school. It's so hard. It's so expensive to do so many events.
Same minus being married. I don't have the riz that Yin has. Sorry.
All right, well, that's traveler.
That's
But-
capitalist, Joel.
You got that bachelorette riz. I got the married riz.
You're right. I'm just autistic.
That is true.
I've got the autism.
Autistic rays coming through.
But in all seriousness, right? Casters want to put together carpools people, casters often also want events to be more stacked that they are commentating. If I am going to an event and either I can get there or I know people who are getting there, it is significantly easier for me to convince people to go to an event if I am commentating it or if I am going to be there. And I know that's the case for a lot of people, right? Casters will often show up with 4 or 5 other players from their state or their region who are their friends, and while not all of them are PR players, some of them might be. Some of them are sometimes. Like Yin showing up with like half the Utah PR.
I signed 4 Utah PR players because every event that I can go to, that I can bring them with, all of a sudden, oh hey, here's some Luma rank points.
Yeah.
Bolster your event a little bit because it's not only good for the event, it's good for me. Because if it is a bigger event, it is better on my resume.
Exactly. And
Yeah, I got to meet some of them.
Yeah. You can like
I love them. They're goats.
they're pretty great. You can right. We want to show for y'all. But in order to do that, we need to know what's up, is essentially what we're trying to say.
Now.
So, sorry, Ian.
Okay,
And I'm Jewish. Shilling's in my blood. I do it real well.
I guess I'm realizing right now why I don't have a successful commentary career is because I don't have any top player friends. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's how I
Reed,
get all the
Reed,
events I get. I'm
Reed.
just like, hey, so I'm going to bring out some
That's not it.
top level PR players.
For you.
It's not it.
I was gonna say
I've never
I
done
can
that.
assure you, despite having brought
Actually,
Ling,
I have.
having brought Ling to a bunch of events, I can assure you I have never got an event because I've been like, hey, I'm bringing Ling.
Might be Cap 3000.
What?
Always a
Whoa,
thing that I add on
Don't
after I
come
get
for-
hired is like, I'll try to bring in some boys.
All right, so my lesson for all of you people watching today is start making friends with the top players. Okay, that's
Yes.
my lesson to you guys. All right?
Clout chase like there's no tomorrow.
So true.
No,
Okay.
Even with
I don't
your
know.
top cast.
In serious mode, I think that that does make sense. That like if you, I don't know, I don't have a thought here. Please, somebody take.
Whoa.
Okay, there's
Waffle
one
Head
other
empty.
thing.
There you go.
Waffle Head
There's
empty.
one other thing I am also doing, given I understand that this is a lot more work, so maybe plan that out. Have a couple of people helping out on the commentary direction, right? But there's
true,
one
bestie.
extra thing that I'm doing for every event that I do. With the Google Forms, where it has like, what's your best contact information? What's your commentary reel? What's your resume? Yeah, shout out to Land King. I do their weeklies right now. One of the other things I'm adding is if we reject you from this event, do you want our feedback on why? Because that is
So true, bestie.
such an amazing thing to have as a caster. Because at all times, it doesn't matter if I get accepted or rejected, I am constantly trying to find ways to make my casting better. That's why I do coaching with Hazmat. That's why I talk to Flambeau about my commentary reels. That's like I'm constantly chatting with Ritual, with Wolf Scratch, with Jet about like, hey, what do you think about doing this or
Speaking of
that?
y'all,
Or,
I'm
you
gonna be right back.
wow, of course, she bounces right now.
See ya. Now,
And so, like, if you don't want the feedback, then you just say no. We're good to go. But if you do want that, then I'm going to be taking notes as a director, being like, all right, this is kind of what I like about them. This is what I kind of don't like. This is the void that they would feel like. This would be a really good analysis. This would be a really good color. And that way I already know what if you want the feedback. There you go, there you have it. Work on this stuff, we can talk next year, and hopefully this bolsters you up as a caster.
Now, I really appreciate that you're putting out the effort, like T.O. should, as into, like, put out the dates, put out the rejection letters, like, asking for feedback, because that's probably one of the most important things for casters to kind of, like, work towards progression. Like, again, I have that same anxiety when I apply to events. There's no date, or there's, like, a very vague line, and then, like, I somehow find out through the back door where... oh, they actually cut it off earlier. Like, they already, like, hired the talent. Then why put out a casting form with a deadline? Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
bro. Really?
And that's fine if you wanna only like get your like top casters in. If that's what you want from an event, that's totally fine and fair. Okay? Don't put on this facade for everybody to think that this event is doing open commentary applications.
And to not send out a rejection letter and
Yes.
a reason why,
Mm-hmm.
following up with what we talked about before. It's a loop. It's a loop with
Yeah.
that type of event, and it sucks.
I will always look very fondly upon my shine rejection because it was like I think it was like a few months into commentary. I'm like, all right, real hustle time, baby. Throw it in there. Have a few events, think I have a good shot. Get rejected by Flambeau. I'm like, well, damn. And I did the only thing that I could have thought of at the time, and was ask for feedback. He did say his DMs were open for feedback, and oh my god, he tore my reel apart. He gave me like the best damn feedback ever.
You got
And-
feedback?
I got
You
I got
did it?
ghosted.
paragraphs.
I got
Ooh,
ghosted.
L. Hold this L. Gerd.
Okay,
Literally,
Gerd, I
like
think that's
a
on you.
year or so later, he finally saw that message and he was like, "Wait, did I not message you about this?
Yeah,
Like, please tell me I
but
messaged you on like Twitter or Discord." I'm like, "Nope,
The
I
thing
only messaged
was-
you on Twitter."
He was going through every single applicant to
Yeah.
ask for feedback and doing it, which is
He
a
gave
lot.
me paragraphs worth. I
paragraphs.
completely shifted my my casting paradigm. If you look at like Crown 2 compared to Crown 3, like you can see it.
Yeah. And actually, another part of that, like, rejection, right? For rejection for me is very inspiring. Like, I see the rejection letter, and it's like, in my mind, it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, I gotta do better, or like, I need a better resume. I'll go to more events. That's exactly what I did. Worked on my craft, studied my VOD, studied players, went to a lot more events, traveled so much because I wanted to, like, get good enough to be on these majors. And lo and behold, the work be paying off. Year one in commentary. LFG. LFG.
I would say sponsor Snivy, but since our last episode, I don't think we've done an episode since Snivy also got sponsored
yeah.
by Cafe. So
Cafe.
shout out.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
pretty sure we
technically, we could get more sponsors, I believe.
Yes,
on
we
top of
yes,
Cafe.
yes we can.
Sponsor
However,
us and our podcast.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yo, Metafy, you wanna sponsor a podcast, real quick?
Yeah, speaking of sponsors, actually, we are actually sponsored by Fresh Cuts.
No,
That
we
would be
wish.
wild.
Shut up,
Yo,
shut up,
Fresh
shut
Cut,
up,
hit us
shut
up.
shut up.
Yo, Haz, if you still watch us regularly, that's who I was talking about earlier. Haz, if you
Yo,
still
let's
watch
go,
us,
Haz.
you should
Throw us a-
mention that we're
throw us a
looking for
bone.
sponsors to somebody.
Dude,
Okay,
Hazmat is
I'm
such
gonna-
a homie.
I'm gonna take control of the.
Yeah,
what?
I'm gonna shut this down. What the fuck? We have like 13 subscribers. Let's work on our subscribers.
Yo,
count
shouts-
and then give the sponsors something to
Hey,
deliver. Okay.
hey,
Dude, shout out to all
we
of our
got the
subscribers,
important
dude.
watcher though. We got Hazmat. That's my goat right there. Shout outs to him.
Now,
I'm gonna take over the podcast for a second. Let's move on to the next topic from
Wait,
Skip.
I had
Thank
one
you,
more
Gerd.
thing to say.
No,
Okay, say it,
not
and then let's
allowed.
move on.
I had the final thing I wanted to say is that like a lot of being successful in most things is failing, and when people fail and don't have a reason for why they failed, it can be hard for them to know how to go about the next thing, and honestly, like, can make them want to quit and want to feel like maybe I'm not good enough for this. So it's not just about giving them a timeline or letting them know about it. It's just about helping them grow as a person and as a commentator. So yeah, that's just the last
Exactly.
thing I wanted to add on to that.
Hell yeah.
Now, as we were hinting, we have another topic here. Shout outs to Skiff. Skiff said on
Skiffington.
Twitter, check this tweet on the screen, by the way, chat, viewers and all that. Thank you, Waffle, for editing that in. Overheard someone say something about established casters holding up-and-coming casters down to keep their gigs. I think you're just paranoid, my guy.
I'm with Skiff on
Now-
that one. I'm with Skiff
Yin
on that
hates
one.
me. Guys,
Do we-
Yin
do
hates
we-
me.
do
Ever
we
since
know-
I met Yin, Yin's been bullying me how I never had a major. I'm only just some
Yeah.
fucking scrimbo bimbo.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
below
you can't
him.
do that
And
to
it's
either
like,
of us
well, guess
anymore.
what now, bitch? I got a major. Fuck
Yo,
off, man.
True.
Yin, I got,
Real majors.
Yin, I got another one. Fuck you.
I know, I'm proud. I'm proud of you.
I
No,
have a
okay.
question. I have a question. Do we know
Go
who
ahead.
Skip is talking about? Is there a person?
No
that-
idea.
No idea.
No.
I don't know.
I think it's just
Okay.
like I don't even
But
know if
I
it's just
have
like a
heard this.
subsuite.
Also,
It's like-
also,
I
if
have
we
heard this.
also,
This is insane.
I will say, even if I had, like, I have not heard, and will say that honestly. However, if I did know, I would still not be exposing them on the podcast.
Talk. If
No,
I
on the
speak,
podcast.
Because listen, I feel very strongly about treating people. Again, if you haven't noticed from the last episode, about doing things the right way, treating people the right way, and that includes, things like, even if they're saying shit, even if they're saying stuff like that, right? Like, I still want to treat them the right way, because if you treat them like shit, they're never gonna want to learn. They're never gonna want to improve.
Well, no, they're not
Yep.
gonna want to improve because their ego's too high and they already think
Here-
they're the goat. I think.
Okay, here's the thing.
Reed, are you not the GOAT? Just simply get on our level.
I'm not in my
You
ego
are-
era anymore.
bro,
This
you're
is
my
months
golden
ago.
goal, man.
It's okay. I'm in my ego era. I am the go. I'm built. No.
You're actually ritual SSB,
True.
I'm ritual SSP.
which
But
is
I-
not even ritual SSB anymore.
Our
True, it's
podcast
ritual
is
casts.
Great.
Yeah, we're really on
True.
top of our shit, y'all. I don't know about you, but like we're kind of vibing over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're going off topic.
Season
I
finale
think,
soon.
yeah. On the topic. Here is the thing. I think whoever said this probably mixed up two things here, okay? Because it is very common that the top casters get hired, as they should, right? They are the best of the best. You want the best of the best for your event. That does not mean they are trying to stop you from getting your job. Like, what in the world do you have to be on to, like, take that, like, oh, you got a job, which means you are trying to keep me from the job. No, they just wanted a
Ian,
job.
what do you mean Skiff hate? Like Skiff obviously hates us. Duh.
Well,
Oh
Skip
yeah, I
hates
mean,
me,
like,
of
look
course,
at Skip's
you know.
reply to Momo, man. It's somewhere.
What
here,
does
bro.
it-
Her
what
name
does
is
it
come
say?
very
I'm
big.
not on
I
Twitter.
need to see it.
Yeah, hold
But
up.
it's like
Weird.
it's insane victim complex from like up and coming casters to be like, yeah, the top casters are totally taking the blocks that we should be getting. I'm like, no, they work their ass off just like you are to get the blocks that they got.
Mhm.
Just either work harder or quit,
Yes, sir.
or just
Exactly.
like don't even try to like just like keep working.
Damn,
That's
Gerd
literally it.
actually quoting Ajax's response on that one.
Wait, was that?
Yeah, it was,
Essentially-
like, heavily paraphrase. Yeah. it was
Oh,
very-
yeah. Work harder
like-
and try harder because nobody is going to get it
Like,
But this is
done but yourself.
this is the reality though of like the situation. Like, we're Ritual and I, like, we're Gerd, Waffle, we're new kids on the block. People like Yin, TKEE, Charles Hazmat, like Jet, Wolfie, they've been commentating for years. You're gonna be crazy if you don't like hire these people kind of like over us.
Yeah.
Wait.
If
I
they're
thought I heard
available,
my name in there. I just want to back up. If you said my name, I've been commentating for like a year and a half, dog.
All right, put Yin out of the equation. Sorry, go.
no.
sorry,
What are you
go.
talking about?
Hashtag
What are you talking about?
I'm
Yin's the
dumb.
homie. Support Yin. Hire Yin.
Now we're
Don't
putting
hire
down
me.
the homie now.
Don't hire me.
The
just
homie
hire Yin.
self-reported.
No, don't hire me. Just hire Yin.
Hey, I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest.
He's
I've
the
been on a
same
year and a
person.
half, but like I've just gotten very lucky. Okay, here's the other thing. This does go back to one of the conversations a couple of years back. I think it's important to acknowledge that given there is a lot of hard work in there, but there is some aspects of luck, right? Like
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would not have I have 3 majors under my belt in a year and a half. That's insane. Like.
Whoa,
And
whoa, whoa,
2 of them
whoa,
are
whoa.
from Utah, though, because I live in Utah. One is from Oregon, which
Hold on. It's not that insane.
Let
in a
the
year
man
and a half,
speak.
3 majors.
I do.
I know you're also insane. What can
I know.
you say,
I'm just
Steve?
giving you.
They'll just-
Yin, I'm just giving you shit for the sake of shit.
I hate you.
I think it's
I
okay
hate
to
you
call
too.
getting 3 majors in a year and a half.
No, I agree, and
I
I'm
think it's okay.
I agree.
Like-
I'm just giving Yin shit for the sake of it. I should
And let's
clarify,
be
y'all.
clear.
I'm not serious right now.
Let's be clear. I still think I have a lot of work to do on my
Same.
commentary. I think
Agreed.
there are better commentators that don't get the limelight. But a lot of that also comes like I've gotten a little lucky. I'm not gonna lie. Like B&W loves me. Shout outs to like Big Daddy Nom Nom to MC Polo. They have hooked me up so well up there, and like B&W takes care of their guys. When B&W loves a caster, they will bring that caster back to back to back to back, and that's what they've done with me, and I appreciate them so much.
You got that orbiter
especially
effect.
yeah, like it just, and so like there is some semblance of luck. I got very lucky to be in a state where there's no other like casters really pushing, so I just immediately like boom, crown, you got it, dog. And then like I got very lucky to network in with Cal, with Big Daddy Nom Nom, and that blew up from there. So
Yeah, and it's really important, like what you did basically for your grind. Like, you networked, you met a lot of people. You like drove to Land King 2 hours every day, right?
I would do 4-hour round trip drives, 3 days a week.
You're insane
for
for that, and I love
Aragon,
it.
ESA, and Land King.
Yeah, and that was part of my early grind as well, cause like I basically based my whole like grind / strategy off of like Sajan's playlist, and it's like, all right, I'll go to Fusion on Monday, I'll go to like Encore, I'll go to like this Philadelphia local on Tuesday and Friday. I was driving so many places early, and then I'm kind of like slowed down over time. That I'm like more
Now that
known.
you're getting events, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm like more known. I don't have to go as hard, but I still have to keep up the consistency. I still have to like put in the work, because you can't just like slack once you think you're safe. Like once you think you're like in it, like you're chill, no, you're not.
You're never in
You're
it.
never
You're
in it,
never
bro.
in
Never
it.
Okay,
in
this
it.
actually reminds
You
me.
think you're in it, and then you have to try to get to the next bracket, and then you're still not in it.
Try
It
stay
just
hire
never
me,
stops.
please.
This does remind me one thing that I forgot to mention. If you are doing remote casting for an event, or sorry, if you as a TO are running remote casting, please put that out ahead of time. I have missed out on 2 events, which given like maybe I would have gotten turned down. I'll accept that I very well could have been turned down, but I did not apply because I could not travel to them, and that I found out afterwards they had some remote comm slots.
Okay, but also I'm just gonna
Is
say
this the
this.
Delfino Maza shout out?
Yeah, so shout out to
Delfino
Delfino Maza for actually putting it in their application. Even if you don't know if you can go to an event, they sometimes have
Smash
travel
Factor.
budgets. I would always encourage people. I would always encourage people, even if you don't know if you can afford to go to an event, apply. If you get hired, you can negotiate and say, hey, I really need help with a flight. I'm willing to take less on my rate, etc. And if it doesn't work out, then TOs and vice versa will say, okay, well, we really want to have you maybe in the future, but we have to go in a different direction for budget reasons. And that's okay. But you can't get offered if you don't apply. If you know there's no way in hell that you can possibly get there or cast the event remotely, don't apply. But if you don't know or you aren't sure, like always look at an event app. Always look at an application. Especially if it's a major. They might have remote slots, they might have etc. It's listed on the app sometimes. Sometimes it's not, and it should be. But a lot of the time it is, and you should look.
But yeah, so like just it's that open communication thing. Make life easier. And I do love the fact that there's more remote casting. I think that's an amazing solution, even though for the most part, like traveling is just better for commentating an event. But having some remote casting is great.
Like literally half the reason, like this is the first time on the podcast that I've showed my new equipment. Like I got a new mic, I got a new boom arm, I got a new headphones that I'm not using now, but I literally bought it for the fact that I'm probably going to be doing a lot of remote casting for like Fusion, Land King if I have the time, and then other like VGC opportunities, because I'm like, my old mic was kind of ass and is very old. And I'm going to be honest, this is not like a spoiler, but there are not many events near me for the rest of the year that I'm going to be able to commentate offline. So I'm like, I'm going to have to shift my focus to primarily online events. Also, I'm like working like full time. And I'm about to go into like the busy part of my work year, so I'm gonna be working like 50-hour weeks.
And
so
you gotta
I
go
don't
back
have
to
time
work.
Yeah, I have to go back to work in like 20 minutes. But like, I don't have the time or like the consistency to go to my local every single week to get practice, unless someone specifically hits me up like a.
Editor's note here. Just wanted to say this is the part where Ritual is computer blue screened and the audio gets all messed up. So from here on out, you won't be able to hear her section. So she'll be talking to us. So it'll be kind of confusing, but we got past most of the juicy stuff in this episode. So just bear with us for like the last 15 minutes. Thank you.
few days in advance and says, "Hey, do you want to commentate?" Because like, yeah, I would want to go to a local and commentate like a 30-person bracket, but I don't want to go there and not have someone that I want to commentate with, and someone just needs to let me know, like, yeah, I need to do it. Otherwise, I'm stuck at home. Gonna be honest.
Yeah, and like it's really good that you have that equipment now. Like you said for VGC just as well. But like
And not even just like I'm open to all opportunities.
yeah. Like
literally,
Smash
just get me something.
Smash is like less so kind of like with remote comms nowadays, I would want to say. Aside from like Coinbox, you could do like the big Wi-Fi brackets like if you want that experience, but it's like just go to the local at that point. There's like a Smash
Yeah.
local everywhere you got. But when I think of like remote comms in the grand scheme of things, I think of like Brawlhalla, I think of FGC stuff like Street Fighter, Melty Blood, which I'm kind of doing. I've literally been casting like these online brackets in Europe. It's great.
Anyways, did we have anything else that y'all wanted to go over?
I
Just-
guess
just
I have a
just
joke.
I could add on to Gerd's point of just having a full-time job and just like needing a very long time in advance to know if you're going to something, which is why I don't really go to a lot. Like I usually am like, oh, I like need to know long in advance. So if I want to go to an event, if I want to cast an event, I'm going to that event no matter what, which is like kind of the exact opposite of what Ritual was saying. Was like, oh, if you don't know if you can get there, like always apply. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to apply to an event that I don't know that I can get to, just because it's mostly time restrictions for me. So yeah, I just think everyone's situation is a little bit different. So which is why open communication is very important throughout the entire process.
Uh-oh.
I don't have
Whoa.
Discord audio recording right now. Yeah.
Ooh, I hope we can recover that.
We can't.
That's crazy. Ritual silent episode.
Blows.
But I guess
Just put in AI voice.
a
Why does your computer keep blue screening? It just and we're just okay with that.
I hate it
I-
here.
Since we're like not talking about anything, I do want to bring up one more thing.
What's up?
And I do feel somewhat strong about this, and I don't know how any other people feel about it. Like, sometimes wherever you live, you just have more opportunities for casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, you know how real that is.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about top level commentators and what regions they're from, and the only places I'm thinking about are like somewhere along the East Coast, somewhere along the West Coast, or Texas. Name one comment. Where's Skiff from? Really?
Really? I thought he
I
was
did not
in
know.
New Jersey and then moved.
Or just travels.
So originally on the Umpa come up was Tri-State. Yep. So I was right about that. Yeah. So like
Talk.
this comes down to like sometimes, like Yin was saying, sometimes you get lucky. You just sometimes just get lucky based on where you live. If you're from Tri-State, you're probably within a 2-hour distance of many different good locals that have good commentary production.
And
And
majors.
sometimes you just live in a shit region that doesn't have commentary at all. It's like you want
Yeah.
to get good at commentary, good luck.
Me-
Some people just have easier access to getting commentary gigs.
Me, I'm in a sub-region that no one fucking knows.
I don't think
in New
anyone.
York.
I don't think anyone understands the idea that there are different ways to do it. Like if you are that type of person who lives in like let's say Maine. Maine isn't really close to very much. Like the closest you'll probably be able to go is New Hampshire, which is like 2 to 3 hours depending on where you're at. And I think that people in those regions probably don't have as many opportunities to cast many events. But I would like to say, like, there are different ways to get events. You're probably going to have to go the personality route where you just make a really big Twitter presence, and then maybe you do like a regional or something, maybe travel to one regional and then make your name there, maybe have a good stream presence. Like there are other ways to do it, not just the Omega grind way. But yeah, just as a heads up, like you can't just compare yourself to other people who live in like the tri-state who are able to cast like every week, because you're playing a different game with them. You'll never be able to keep up. You got to think about it differently, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could drive to Tri-State.
Maybe you guys should
You
just
should
drive
road
to
trip.
Tri-State. Like, come on.
When's the Yin road trip?
Anyway, speaking of, this is where I plug my Syndicate Snivy road trip next year, 2024. You better catch it. I'll be at every single local in every single state.
No shot. No shot. I'm kidding.
No, well, I'm half serious, half joking.
That would actually be an insane content idea.
It would really do. Yeah,
Does anyone in this podcast want to like make more content? Because
I definitely do.
I've just been.
I make content as a TO.
I've been theory crafting content for like weeks and weeks, and I'm like, I need to share this with people, please.
Also, I guess like I want to like dart back to the skip point, since I kind of feel like we barely touched upon it just a little bit. I want to reinforce this. Casters are your friends, not your
True.
enemies. They are
True.
your friends. They want nothing but the best for you. They will help you out. Like if you ask for advice, like kind of like what Yun was saying, like Flambeau, Hazmat. They've been helping this man out get better on the grind.
Mhm.
I talk to Lyric sometimes. Been talking with Wolfie as well. They've been helping me get better on my commentary.
Yes, sir.
Unless you get ghosted.
Unless you get ghosted. You hit up like, yo, TK, what are we doing those lessons? He's like, no response. Scene.
Damn. This
Nah,
is why we
TK
don't
got the
make
Metafine
content.
now.
So I think that's everything, right?
I think we covered a good amount. Also, I guess the only thing we didn't mention is the banned Steve discourse. Teehee. Which
We're casters. I don't care about.
Ban
Nah,
Steve.
we got a good
ban
amount of
Steve.
stuff about casters.
No, I just
so
want to
think that's
say
good.
I'm very interested in.
Hey, check me out at YinCast on Twitter.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm very,
Boo.
very interested in the debate that HBox is going to have.
I
You're
feel like
corny waffle.
I'm
Shush.
I'm
Who
going
cares
to be
about
watching-
Steve
I'm
bands?
going to be watching with popcorn. It's going to be it's going to be content no matter how useless the conversation becomes.
Yeah. I mean, didn't they already do this technically, but in a private Discord call, on like the
Did they?
conclusion? To,
No,
like,
that was an
Steve on
open.
Wi-Fi.
But
That
this
was an
one is-
open.
What? Yeah, ban Steve a coin box. That was
just-
for that. But now
I
they're
just
doing it
want-
like
Yeah.
open discussion for everything.
Yeah, but
Anyways, we're out of here.
I think that's it.
No, we're not.
Casters on the block.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, 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 wait.
This-
Hey, hold
This
on.
may or may not be the last time you see casters on the block in
I
this, in this current form, but hopefully, you know, things will.
Shine recap. I want to do one before Shine.
Good luck.
I'm gonna kill Waffles and take his spot.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm working.
I am also working, but not at Shine. Like a job.
I'm gonna kill Waffles and take his spot on the pod.
I'm fine with that. Do it, please.
Can
End
you
my
like
misery.
not? Can you like not kill my man's over here? The Waffle Man.
That's how it works. I have to eat him, and then I'll absorb his powers of being on the pod. Yeah, I love Waffles.
You know what?
This is
Rip.
great.
This is 10 out of 10.
This will be an interesting ep.
By the way, you can check Ritual Eye out tonight on Delfino Mazza.
Let's
which
go, Delfino
This
Mazza!
podcast will
Which
only
is
come out
yesterday.
tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Which is yesterday, technically.
Yesterday
Check out the
tonight.
mods.
Guys, check
But
out
check out the
Yesterday
mods.
Tonight.
And then next
Syndicate
week,
Snivy and Rituals on the Yesterday Tonight show.
basically. And then like what I really wanted to do was like try and get a before Shine episode, but we probably will end up doing a recap. So either next episode or like the recap episode will be our season 1 finale of the podcast, and then
We'll be
rework
doing
it a bit.
crack.
Yes, we will
Yo.
not be doing crack.
Confirmed. No, we'll be doing it.
I'm literally wearing a Yoshi shirt.
We've
man.
bought the crack pipes. I have shipped the crack out to everybody.
We are
I'm-
getting
I'm-
banned
I'm
on
down to-
YouTube.
I'm down to end it there. I
Bye.
don't think anything else needs to be said.
Yincast on
that's
Twitter.
That's it.
Yeah. Peace.
I'll see you guys next week.